Kushardaza da druaja raeka uma atraena aikasha.
I want to talk today about something. What if the greatest deception on earth isn't happening in politics, religion, or the media? What if it's happening inside the spiritual community itself? What if some of the people teaching enlightenment and ascension and higher consciousness are unknowingly leading people away from their own sovereignty? And tonight we're diving into one of the most controversial topics in modern spirituality, which is false light. Not darkness disguised as darkness, but it's light disguised as truth. The teacher who tells you to surrender your power, the guru who claims exclusive access to God, and the influencer who says they alone hold the keys to ascension, the channeler who creates dependency instead of empowerment, and perhaps most importantly, how to tell the difference between authentic spiritual guidance and energetic manipulation, because in every age, there's been prophets, but there's also been false prophets. And in the age of social media, the false light movement has never been bigger. Welcome back to the Awakened Consciousness podcast. My name is Yeshua Emmanuel, and today we're about to dive in deep with the special guest at the end. So I want to talk about what is false light. So most people imagine spiritual deception as like something dark and obvious, but deception rarely appears wearing like black robes, right? I'm a huge fan of Lord of the Rings, Sauron, the master deceiver. Initially, he appears as beautiful when he's offering those rings of power, right? So it's always going to first appear as beautiful and loving and comforting. But false light is not always intentional manipulation. Many false light teachers genuinely believe what they teach. And the problem is that they make the mistake of ego for divinity. Hey, buddy, what are you doing? That's my cat over there. Right? They mistake attention for wisdom. So false light actually occurs when someone becomes attached to being seen as enlightened. Once identity attaches to being a teacher, a guru, a master, or a chosen one, the ego begins wearing spiritual clothing, and that is where distortion kind of slips in. And then this leads into something that I think is like this savior complex. And one of the biggest signs of false light is the savior archetype, right? I have what you need. I know something you don't. I can save you. I can activate you. I can heal you. At first, this sounds very empowering, but eventually followers begin to outsource their own authority and their own deeper knowing and sovereignty. So instead of trusting their own inner guidance, they wait for instructions. And look, I'm not saying that we all don't need guidance, because we do, but instead of developing the skill for discernment, they develop dependency. True teachers create independence, and false teachers create followers. A true guide eventually points you back to yourself. All right, a false guide keeps you orbiting around them, and then you fall into what I like to call the ascension trap. So many people enter spirituality seeking freedom, but sometimes they just discover a new prison, the prison of constant ascension and validation, always healing, always clearing, always activating, always upgrading, always chasing the next frequency and the next transmission, the next workshop, and eventually awakening just becomes another addiction. The seeker never actually arrives. So they remain permanently almost there. And that's one of the greatest traps, because authentic spirituality isn't endless chasing, it's embodiment. It's becoming present. It's living what you already know. And then there's the multi-dimensional ego. So the ego doesn't disappear because someone becomes spiritual. The ego just evolves. The ego can wear a business suit, but it can also wear white robes. Spiritual ego sounds like, I'm more awake than everyone else. I operate at a higher frequency. I'm chosen. I'm special. I am part of an elite group. Many communities unknowingly build their identity around superiority. And whenever spirituality creates division between us and them, distortion has already then entered into the field. So authentic awakening produces humility. False awakening produces spiritual superiority. And the frequency of truth is this: like, how do you recognize authentic guidance? Truth does not require fear. Truth does not require worship. Truth does not require dependency. Truth invites exploration. Truth encourages questioning. Truth welcomes discernment. Truth survives examination. Authentic teachers say, don't believe me, test it yourself. Trust your own direct experience because genuine wisdom isn't threatened by question. Only fragile identities are. So the hidden cost of following false light are very dangerous. The danger isn't just being wrong, it's giving away your sovereignty. Your intuition weakens and your inner knowing becomes drowned out. So you stop listening to your own soul, and eventually every decision requires outside validation. At that point, your spiritual growth is kind of stopped because the purpose of awakening was never dependence. It was remembrance, remembering who you are beneath conditioning, beneath fear, beneath programming, beneath authority. The path of sovereignty is true awakening is messy. It involves a lot of uncertainty. It involves a lot of questioning and it involves dismantling old belief systems. But it also leads to freedom because the highest teacher is not the one with the biggest audience. The highest teacher is the one who leaves you more connected to your own inner wisdom. The teacher who reminds you you are not broken, you do not need saving, you are not missing some secret code, and you are not waiting for permission. The truth was always within you, and the journey was remembering, not becoming. Okay, so as we transition into the next part of this episode, we have an interview with a very special healer who's inside of the collective. But I want to leave you with this question. If every guru disappeared tomorrow, if every teacher vanished, and if every book was removed, would you still be able to hear your own soul? Because ultimately, the purpose of every authentic path is not to create followers, it's to create sovereign beings. And perhaps the highest spiritual achievement isn't finding someone to follow, it's remembering how to trust yourself. All right. Until next time, guys, Taisha and Tadoe, keep on questioning, keep discerning, and keep walking your own path of wisdom. I love you. Peace.
Should we do a frequency setting before we
Yes, we
start?
should. Welcome to the Awakened Consciousness podcast, guys. It's Yesterday Manuel. I'm here with, I would have to say, the most advanced healer in the world, our boy Jacob Tapp, councilman of the Soul Path Collective, and one of my closest friends, guardian allies. We're just going to set the frequency and say a little prayer before we get into today's meditation today. In the name of the Melchizedek Cloister, Emerald Amethyst, and Gold Order, Holy Order of the Unified Sacred House of One, Mahawa et un Esa ish adur, let utu etra dienawe. I am the Adondra 360. Adondra esta ut shueta adene, Taisha and Tadoe, Taisha and Tadoe, Taisha and Tadoe. We now sanctify this space with the eternal living light. Rasha Yudu Christar. Spoken as it is stated, and so it is done. All right. I don't know if you guys are watching from home or watching on YouTube, but our brother Jacob, what is that, Jacob? Could you tell us what that is? I need to get one.
What's that,
Is
sorry?
that sage in the bowl?
It is Palo Santo and sage, yes. It's just a little clay bowl. I think
Yeah,
I paid like $3 or $4 for this.
yeah.
So it's natural, it's got the earth element, and you can put, sage, Palo Santo, tobacco, frankincense, whatever you want. Your
Yeah,
your
yeah.
choice of cleansing smudge.
Awesome. Well, Jacob, I'm super stoked to have you on, brother. This episode is about false light gurus, and we are living in a day and age where I think there are so many right now. And I think for people who might not have the level of discernment, right, that's needed to be able to discern who is aligned with source and who is on a more base 10 Metatronic frequency. I just wanted to know, like, what's your experience been? Because you've been inside certain tribes and, probably more than me. Uh, but I just wanted to ask you, like, it's like a big difference from, I guess, how do you sort out people who are just like famous on the internet for talking about it versus those people who are like doing the work and they're truly like embodying their highest avatar, their Krystic level avatar.
So I guess the way to determine and detect this is you need to have a level of awareness and awakening to properly
Hmm.
be able to really see. But I would say for a simple way for people that are not well trained or not activated enough to see through the distortion or see through the veil of illusion, just
Hmm.
what is this person presenting to you? Are they really speaking from their heart, soul, and truth? Has this person really activated their upper strands? Are they speaking from experience and embodiment? Or are they just
Right.
speaking, reading off their computer, or repeating other things? And what,
Right.
what are they offering? What are they assisting or helping your journey with? Or are they
Right.
just showing things to get your money? So
Right.
they're
Right.
important things. But,
Yeah,
but
because
yeah.
I mean, because it can be so hard to tell. Like, I think especially for what we teach and what we talk about inside the Soul Path Collective, right? I mean, because for a lot of people, this information is like mind blowing. I mean, you read about there being 15 harmonic universes. I'm sorry, five harmonic universes with 15 dimensions inside of each one, and there being different levels of yourself, like a Russian nesting doll. Like, it's a lot to comprehend, and I think take in, especially for people who are like newer inside the collective, or maybe they're coming from another tribe and they've got some trauma, and they might not even properly get it or like understand. Like, what are just some basic things that people can do to just ground themselves daily? Because I know one of the biggest things for me was changing the way that I eat and the way I look at food. That was, I think, the biggest. That, and then managing and mastering my sexual energy, because I think those are some of the two of the biggest things I think that's hard for people to wrestle with.
Yeah. Even Buddhist monks and people like that who dedicate their life to mindfulness, awareness, meditation, they all say that
Yeah.
sexual mastery or lust is the last thing that you're going to master. They say that's the hardest one that stays the
Yeah.
longest.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say for people that are
Yeah.
new and for people who just come into the spiritual lifestyle or journey and they jump straight into these most probably the most advanced techniques in this universe, if you jump straight into it, it's whoa,
Yeah.
very it's going to blow your mind. It's going to be overwhelming,
Hmm.
and you're not going to have like a base, like someone who was already spiritual. Maybe they studied some Hinduism or Buddhism or a bit of indigenous practices or wisdom. At least they've got a bit of experience of training themselves with average meditation and stuff. But yeah, as you're saying, for the grounding, feet in soil, sun in face. Very simple and effective. Maybe you can make the routine of when you have your lunch or whenever you're not at work, you have time, go out and sit, feet on the grass in nature. Don't be looking at your phone and just have your meal, just observing the trees and the nature, even just the sky, just be in nature as much as you're able to if you're a busy person.
Hmm.
Nature is extremely important for stabilizing, grounding, and neutralizing these frequencies and light codes that are coming in. It's not just something you should do, it is vital and necessary for, especially if you're a starseed, angelic, or dragon soul, or light
Yeah.
work, whichever name you want to call it. It is seriously vital for you to get grounding. I would say at least 15 or 20 minutes a day.
Mm.
But even simple things like a salt mineral bath, it helps to stabilize um, codes into coherence. Like the way that your skin up against the salt
Yeah.
water minerals, it helps to like bring and stabilize. There is many tricks.
Yeah. It's because I know, personally, like I had experiences with my oversoul before even learning about like the MCO and understanding who I was even talking to in years prior, back in 2022, when I got out of my first like really toxic relationship. And I was actually at a rave when I first had a conversation with my oversoul, and I had no
Yeah.
idea who it was, man. I just saw that big ass bird with that golden plated armor, and I was like, who the fuck is this? And why does their voice sound so like it was like I could feel his voice vibrating in my cells, and my hands were shaking a little. I was like, oh my God. And I was like, is this God? He was like, no, 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 no. I'm just a messenger. I was like, yo, this is wild. And a couple of dreams where I went to the higher dimensions. And there are dreams, but then there are dreams that feel so real. You can touch your own face, you can touch the face of who you're seeing. And it didn't feel like a dream. And there were all these giant bird beings and like now I know them to be Lyrans and Arcturians and like the Carians and like the Avians, um, and just the level of love and the frequency and the embodiment. So when I came across MCO order teachings and I began learning, I was like, oh my God, this is the place. This is who I was talking to. But for me, if I didn't have that, like if I didn't have those experiences before coming in, I don't think I would have really been able to process the information as quickly as I did because I'd already been there. It's kind of like your first time going to a new continent or a new world, but you don't know the name of the continent or like the world that you're in, and then someone tells you, "Oh, like that's Atlantis," or like that's Lemuria. You know what I mean? Because it's one thing to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's another thing to actually be there in that frequent in the frequency. Because you're like, I don't want to go back to 3D Metatronic distorted ass Earth while you're there because there's just so much love. It's just a much
Yeah.
higher realm of being.
It's like going home. Yeah.
It is like going home. What was your first experience like when you began to activate your avatar? Like your first meeting with your dragons, like the very, very first one. What was that like for you in this incarnation?
Well, my first experiences was not with my higher self or oversoul. That came a bit later. So one of my first memories was Atlantis. So yeah, of course, it's like
Mm,
it's kind of hard to put into
yeah,
words, but when you go there or you experience or you re-experience and you live and you have confirmation, you see it, your guides tell it to you, then you see it again, like they're really making sure like they're showing you and then this face, that name, that timeline, this is you, like so
right,
it's remembrance is one of the greatest things ever. But these teachings, when done consistently with the right intention and right order and right guidance, it will just blow your spiritual journey, your
mm,
consciousness, your whole hologram is like, whoa, there's so much more extra levels than to what you were already experiencing and living and believing and
right,
knowing. So
right.
I'd say my first kind of big, actually my first one, I was visited by the Arcturians in a spaceship in one of my dreams, and they had me there with this like spacesuit on. And
Hmm.
at the time, I knew about star beings a little bit, but not that much. I didn't fully understand. I was like, I think that's either Arcturians or Andromedans. I'm thinking, where were they taking me on the spaceship? Like it was very interesting. And then about a year after that, I think I found the teachings which helped to accelerate all of
Right.
that.
Well, it's said
But
that
I've
everyone,
I've got so many experiences about the dimensions and little
yeah.
remembrance that I could, but yeah, my first one was the dream with the Arcturians coming down to greet me or meet me or give me a
Hmm.
sign, and then the next big one was I think the Atlantean remembrance. But there's a certain time where once it starts, it's just like bang, it keeps coming in waves.
Yeah. It's
Your visions, your dreams, your meditations, it's all just going to blow open to a whole new level, and you're going to be a different person after that.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, because you're in sync with your soul at that point, and harmonic
Yeah.
universe too. And then I think that for me is the beginning of ego death. Because you kind of need ego a little bit to get through life, but it's not, you recognize it a
Yeah.
lot more.
For me, one of the biggest things was what is the original name of my soul? I was asking. I really wanted to know who I am. What is the original name of my soul?
Mm-hmm.
And when you receive that, it's like, oh, it's like I am this name.
Yeah.
And it just, when you say it in the mirror with intention, it just tingles and ripples through your whole DNA and is so empowering.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
then, like, later, you will discover more things. You'll have more experiences, mission meditations, and you will actually get access to like your soul missions and soul
Yeah.
contracts. And then you really know who you are and what your purpose is here on Earth. And you have so much more drive and inspiration after that.
Yeah. Because the veil has been lifted because we go through what's called the veil of forgetting when we choose to incarnate. So we sign off and we consent to
Yeah.
forget. But then as that veil,
we we had to accept that because if we were to come down into these human bodies with all the information and knowledge that we
Mhm.
know, we would just be like, "What the hell is this
Yeah.
nonsense?" We would go
Yeah.
insane. So we had to forget everything, and we also agreed to have certain seals placed upon us because without these seals, it would not properly allow the awakening and remembering to unfold in the way it should have.
Right.
So that's why many of us have this thing where it feels like we're stuck or we don't know or we don't remember. It's like something is stuck and you know there's something stuck. But along your
Yeah.
journey, the seals in divine timing will be lifted.
Right. Right. And
Yeah.
talk about a little bit people who think they can accelerate this stuff by the use of drugs, because I know things like ayahuasca and a DMT, right? Those things force the seals to come open, but it's not a natural way, right? It's kind of
Yeah. It's a forced
right,
way.
right,
Okay. So we have this thing within our template which has been placed, all right? There is in the Azure point, there is like a Metatronic dark fallen sun Anubis type of implant in the template,
right,
right? And anybody who uses psychedelics, even marijuana, plant medicines, psilocybin, all that type of psychedelic plant medicine stuff, let's just say you're already doing the eternal life techniques, you know, to reverse all those Metatronic things that have been put upon you. If you use the plant medicine, it reverses all the hard work you've done in the techniques and it feeds that Metatronic system. So you're kind of like, if you're not doing those advanced techniques yet, it doesn't matter so much. But the other thing it does is not only does it feed that Metatronic system, which you don't want to feed or increase, it blows open your
right,
tiwa, located around the back of the skull area. It blows open the tiwa and it forces it open. And while you are busy having a light show, you can call it whatever you want, just on a journey, tripping out, whatever you want to call it, while you're busy, distracted, having a light show, and you are vulnerable and you are unable to protect yourself, that tiwa, which is like the window to the soul where somebody dies, that's where they leave. When in near-death experiences, that's where the soul can exit and come back in. So that window is forced wide open. All right. Now there's all these fallen angelics, Metatronic beings, distorted beings, demonic, all types of evil or negative ETs, whatever, right? They then have a full window or a door wide open. They can come in, they can siphon your energy, they can put implants, they can put technologies, they can reprogram your DNA template, your mind, they can do whatever they want because you are distracted and vulnerable. So to me, that is extremely dangerous. I do not use plant medicines because of that.
right.
So there's a risk of infiltration, there's a risk of distortion, there's a risk of DNA template scrambling, there's a risk of having implants and technologies, cords being put upon you, your light and energy siphoned. People think, I feel good, like a reset after that plant medicine experience. Bullshit, you got siphoned. Your energy was
Yeah,
siphoned. That's why you're like, oh, I need to integrate or relax. Like you feel like that
right,
because you were drained.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
there are certain people in the new age space who are going around under the guise of protocol, heart protocol, or whatever, who are opening up people's morphogenetic template and siphoning their energy out and making all sorts of broad claims that you are being connected to your, oversoul or your avatar or whatever, who now have pending lawsuits against them because there's laws against that in certain states to where in order to be able to administer certain tier 1 and tier 2 level drugs like that you can, but you have to have a license for it, right? And it
Yeah.
just blows my mind that people can just be so reckless with it and think, oh, I'm going to meet God. And it's like, baby, like you have no idea. Like that is not that's not God, that's not love, that's not coherence, you know. God's not a jackass.
Yeah.
It's not,
You cannot shortcut your way by using substances or drugs to get to those higher states. The work must
yeah,
be done naturally with coherence, right intention, right order, and it takes repetition and practice, and you slowly get closer and closer. You cannot, the Buddha or Yeshua or Jesus did not take a shortcut and go to a plant medicine
hell
ceremony and
no.
trip out on some mushrooms and then become enlightened. They did the inner work correctly. They faced
Yeah,
their shadows, they transmuted and harmonized them, they transmuted traumas, they did the right activations with the right codes, and they did that inner work the right way. And then they were rewarded with the high, loving frequencies, embodiment, and all the things that most people ask for in healing sessions and stuff.
hmm,
How do I get to connected with my higher self, or how can I connect with my oversoul, or I want to have this type of frequency, or like the answer to all that
hmm,
is there is no trick or shortcut. All right, the work must be
right,
done. All right, if you just get into it, bite the bullet, and you knuckle down and you do that shadow work, you clear those implants and metatronic systems within your field, transmute traumas, even past life traumas. Most souls carry billions of years of trauma.
yeah,
They people might not be aware, but there is so much trauma stuck in your soul and field that needs to be cleared before you're able to hold that higher
right,
light and that source plasma.
yeah. Yeah, well, talk about that because I consider you to be a more advanced healer than anybody, sergeant, anyone. I don't care. Like to me, you're the greatest healer on the planet, and what I've seen you do, and what other people have seen you do. Talk about your healing sessions. Like you don't have to go into the details of like your clients, but just what do you see inside of those, and um what's something that like really annoys you that you wish people would work on? Because I find that a lot of people for some reason want a fairy godmother healer to just kind of, all my problems are done, and but they don't want to sit up and do any of the daily work or activations to continue to get that field, you know, nice and
Yeah.
strong.
So I wouldn't say that something annoys me, but
Mm,
just when there's some people that are, let's just say I remove a whole bunch of demonic or evil spirits, pull out a whole bunch of implants or technologies, remove things that shouldn't be there, and then in 2 weeks, they're back. Same type of thing. I
mhm.
help them again, and then another few weeks, they're back. So there is a reason, there's always a reason and a cause for these spiritual attachments or issues. Like let's just say, if I use one client as an example,
Mhm.
I worked on her top of the head just to the side a little bit. the first time, and then the second time there was another implant in the exact same spot. So I asked myself, I'm like, why is in the exact same position? I'm like, something's up. There's an underlying cause for this. So I just tuned in, and I saw what happened in Atlantis in the explosion and the fall of Atlantis. You know, it was damaged. There was trauma to the energetic blueprint or the energy body, and there was fractures of the soul missing. So I had to call them back to properly restore balance to that trauma or that issue that she was having with the top of the head area. But okay, sometimes spirits or entities are attaching to show, reflect, or mirror something about you. Let's say that there is an unhealed shadow or trauma or something which needs to be dealt with. They could be attaching to that part of you because there is a frequency match for them
Right.
to feed off or attach. So sometimes they're revealing or mirroring inner work that needs to be done. It's not just so much that this evil spirit or entity is causing trouble for no reason. There's always a reason. So yeah. So yeah, like every person is different, you know. So there's not one way to heal or facilitate healing for someone because there's different situations, different traumas, different past lives, different issues. Some, you know, some can be physical, some can be energetic, some can be past life. But whatever way it is,
Yeah.
when I do a session, I just ask, okay, this beautiful soul in front of me, please show me what I need to see or give me the telepathic message I need to know to help this person. Whatever they need right now at this time of their journey in their life, please show me that. Because I believe that I'm not going to control or, you know, I'm not going to control a situation. I'm going to let source and the universe reveal it naturally the way it is ready, all in divine timing, you know what I mean? So whatever is
Right.
shown to me is the things I work on. So I might see that, all right, this person on the right side under the third rib, there is it's kind of like an x-ray. So first I'll usually do the energy clearing for the home and from their field if there's anything attached to them, and then I will remove any dense trauma stuck in the land that they live on. Let's say there was tribal wars, or there was colonizations and killings and wrong things that happened. The trauma can be stuck within the land. So I do the home and themselves first, then I do the land itself, and then I boost, recalibrate, and ignite the ley lines that they live on. So the home is good, the earth, the land has become better, and the frequency of the lines has like risen. So now it makes it difficult for negative entities to lurk or find an attachment or a frequency match because their home is like vibrating after that. And then I would usually put a dragon shield of protection on the home. And then after that, I would just take a minute to see what's showing up, anything else important, removal of anything negative, evil, demonic, or whatever, anything important like that I need to take care of first. And then I will begin I call it a body scan. So I will start at the very top of the head and I will very slowly just scan down, you know, checking for technologies, implants, traumas. Like it can be in the energy body, it can be past life. So sometimes I'll be like, all right, under your third rib on the right side, there is something showing up. Do you feel any sensation there? I'll try and let them feel it because they need to feel it to heal it. And then I'll be shown like a scene of a Native American tribal, like an arrow hit them there and the trauma is still there. But in this lifetime, it's still showing up
Right.
because the blueprint of the energy body is still has trauma there. So I will repair that, and then I'll move on to whatever is shown to me next. There's so many crazy things that show up. It just depends on the person and what's happened to them over all these lifetimes. You know, anything can happen. Yeah, so I can talk more about stuff like that if you want, or if you have any other questions, you can
Yeah,
ask
no,
me.
man. I mean, it's just this is a level of healing that I think a lot of people they might be used to some level of it, right? Because they might be working with like a
Mhm.
shaman and I haven't had the best
Yeah,
experience with shamans because they're always just trying to spiritually belittle you sometimes,
yeah,
and they're never looking
yeah,
at your eternal life blueprint. They're only looking at the Akashic
yeah.
records.
Well, the thing is, with the, I'm not going to say about all. I'm not going to say all of them. I'm just going to say a lot of
Yeah,
them. The eternal life, multi-dimensional, advanced capacity, techniques, and wisdom and knowledge is not really in their culture or training that they
yeah,
talk. So most of them is 3D, 4D type of earth
yeah,
spiritual healing, what they
yeah,
look at. There's some of them that might have the potential. They could be a sacred soul. They could be a starseed. They might have that capacity and ability to see, star lineages and cause and effect of 10,000 years ago, something that
hmm,
happened. That's why the trauma is there. Like some of them might have that, but I would say most of them have not got a clue about the eternal life techniques with the advanced stuff that we are doing.
right, right.
But
No,
yeah.
I 100% agree. I first time I went to see a shaman.
And I also would say most of the techniques and rituals they do are distorted 10 base and even worse.
Yeah,
Like a lot of them will call in energy, support, or power from distorted beings or spirits which are not aligned. So there's always kind of like a type of leverage or cord attached. Like if you are, let's say you're killing 6 chickens, feeding a negative, distorted spirit so that that spirit can help with something, there is now a connection. Like it's like you owe me, you got to feed me again. Like there's always a connection. So it's better not to work with anyone who does distorted techniques and practices
mm,
because there's always going to be like a bondage
mm,
after that.
yeah. I've seen it.
So these any beings that are distorted, that are not aligned with source, they need to harvest energy or light to survive. So once you open that door to like work with them, they may make trouble, chaotic systems in your life, whatever it is, because they feed off those frequencies and energies and emotions that are produced from that.
Yeah,
So I would say that if you're learning from somebody who is not aligned, that is distorted or does practices which are not fully, know the source of all creation, the divine original light would not ask you to kill or sacrifice blood ever at all. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So just I would just say seek teachings that are aligned with source, like pure love techniques,
right.
but there's so much things about it. It's hard to say everything in one hour or something, but yeah.
No, man. That's that's 100% true. Me myself, I've always felt like I've always had a strong radar for bullshit. Just like
Yeah,
because
yeah,
when something is aligned, you feel it in your cells. It starts at a cellular level, right? Your cells start
yeah,
talking to you. But when something is not aligned, it's like I had a shaman tell me one time, "Oh, you were a racist white man in World War II in your past lifetime, and you died in the plane." And I was like, "Doesn't sound aligned, bro. That doesn't. I don't have any memories or any."
yeah. Usually when I give a remembrance to
Yeah.
somebody, I will describe to them what I'm being shown, and then I'll be like, they might show me a lineage or a timeline or a memory,
Hmm.
and then I will hear a name like 3 times, and I'll write it down. And I'll first, before I say it, I will really confirm, is this their soul name? If it is, what timeline or lineage is that name? And then when I say to them, the original name of your soul is, and I say it, and I see their face and the way it feels for them, how much I, it's amazing and so honorable to, and I'm grateful to grant people that experience or remembrance. It's very special.
Right.
Or even just when someone finally finds out their lineage or anything like that, it's like it's a big
It's a
thing.
huge deal. Yeah.
Or when their soul family comes down to the healing session that we're doing, and they like surround and just like give a massive
Yeah.
multi-dimensional high frequency
Yeah.
hug, so much love. or if they're giving me a light language to say to the person to help activate them, and just like I can feel the emotion is so strong. Sometimes I'll even cry
Yeah.
with the person, or just because the power of the
That
love
yeah.
coming through is so
That high frequency
strong.
is insane. It's insane when it's
Yeah,
passing through your body. You're like, "Oh my God, I just want to cry."
yeah,
That's all you can do.
yeah. Like you really can feel it. You can feel the such powerful, potent love.
It's pure,
Yeah,
100% pure.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like one of the reasons for me why I founded Soul
Like
Path
you
was
remember when you did that session,
oh yeah,
the
man. That
amazing information that you found out, and the amazing experience.
oh yeah, that was yeah, just like tears. And then also for what was even
Yeah,
crazier is Elvira got a download about Andrea and she didn't even know who she was. She just, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
When my mom keeps calling me.
I remember we were like in Lyra, and then they started showing the divine
Yeah.
feminine, and then it all turned out like that's the one that you're talking to
Yeah.
now. So you got soul names
Uh-huh.
confirmed, you got remembrance and confirmation of lineage, you got soulmate or twin flame or divine feminine, which whatever name you want to
Yeah.
call it, confirmation. You got a whole bunch of alignments, and that the big thing was that technology
Back in my head, yeah.
that
Yeah.
popped
Bro,
in the skull.
it's even crazier after that is I closed a $25,000 deal.
Yeah, yeah. It helped to unlock things in your
Yeah, and
life.
then I
Yeah,
was able to start. Like there's the best way to describe it was my life felt like it had less friction. And my
yeah,
relationships I got because the thing is God doesn't live in distortion. God lives in clarity and alignment. The voice should be clear. Anything that leaves you in a state where you're very confused and you're very unsure, but it keeps you in that state of where you're just kind of stagnating, that's a distortion. And I hated
yeah,
feeling like that where I just couldn't make a decision or I felt like I couldn't trust my own choices. You know, like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna run out of money. Like what if I never close another deal again, you know, because I work in consulting and I have a business doing that. And I'm just like, wait, no, abundance. There's another. And learning how to actually call that into your field, right? And
yeah,
I'll say this. I think now because I won't say like being in a relationship because you have to be in a relationship that's aligned is you sit in the energy of gratitude more. And if that's how you start all of your days, you will be blessed. But you have to start your day with gratitude. You have to.
yeah,
Even if there's shit you have to do, even if there's a like a bill or some task, something that needs to be done that, you know, you don't want to do. We all have those days, but at
I
the
think
end you
that's
have
really
to
important. Maybe we should describe what our day looks like for some people who are trying to create a routine of alignment and,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's a guy on YouTube who has a great course about manifestation. But if you, I read a lot of Neville Goddard, and that's where you have to start. Like the foundation of manifestation is gratitude, right? And even for
yeah,
some people, it's like a journal. For some people, it's like it starts with the
it's a
breath.
combination of things.
Yeah, I mean, for me,
It's a combination. It's like a combination of things to get the right recipe on spot. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like gratitude, and it's believing it, and then it's like being thankful, grateful, and creating the emotion of like, yes, I've
I've
received it
received
already,
it. Yeah,
thank you.
yeah.
Yes, that emotion and frequency of already believing and knowing that it's there already,
Mhm.
and you like, yes, that's like anchoring it. If you just say not on the right emotion, energetic frequency, I am abundant, I am this, but you're not truly
You're not
feeling
feeling
it,
that.
meaning it, or believing
Yeah,
it, you're not going to be answered properly.
right. Because the universe, speaks in terms of frequency.
And one other trick is when you need help with something, just look up with pure intention and love and just ask once. Once you ask, you've already
Right.
ordered. So just ask with the right intention one time. Can I please have some help with this? You
Right.
know, whatever the situation is in your life, just ask for that help. Just say, please, source, universe, may I have a little bit of help with this situation right now? And then once you've asked, and just be grateful straight away. Thank you, source. Thank you, universe. And see what happens. Just try it.
I agree, brother.
I think daily routine, like how you're saying that, is important. So I'll tell people what I do. I wake up, I stop my alarm, I do a toe squat first.
Mm-hmm.
I open the fascia. I do downward dog for like 10, 20 seconds because I usually have a bit of tightness along
Yeah.
that line. And then I do 40 push-ups and 20 squats. Get a bit of blood and energy moving. I go out, I prepare the protein shake and cup of cacao, just pure organic cacao with some honey. I then go out, stand on the earth barefoot, doing qigong for about 15 minutes. I'm moving, I'm breathing, I'm grounding. First task I'm doing of the day. If the sun is rising, that's a bonus. Sometimes I'm up before the sun. So I'm breathing, I'm moving, I'm letting energy flow, and I'm grounding. And then I go inside after that. I drink my protein shake and my cup of cacao. Then I go and do the 15 chakras meditation activation. So my 15 chakras, my 15 sacred energy points, I'm aligning, I'm activating, I'm invoking shields. All right. And then after that, meditation finishes, I will go and do making fresh juice and a healthy breakfast. And then I'm usually like off to the gym and then a sauna. Like I'll usually do like 45 minutes of weights, some core or sit-ups, a 1K run, and then go straight into the sauna. I'm going to turbo detox those chemtrails and pollutants that they're putting in everything, you know. It's very important. It's also good for recovery, the sauna. And then after that, yeah, I might go to work. I might have healing sessions. I might have some other task to do. But then I usually meditate 3 times a day. I will always do the chanting. I will do all the chants
Yeah.
of the first written or spoken language in this universe. Very powerful, very activating,
Yeah.
very, very, very
And
powerful.
you will learn
I'll do
this.
all the chants. I don't skip any chants. I do every single chant. I look at every single symbol with intention, inhaling and invoking those shields onto my energetic field with the technique I've showed you.
Mm.
I'll do all the meditations I need to. And then, yeah, throughout my day, I'm always invoking shields, setting frequencies and boundaries. I usually do it 3 times a day, sometimes more, just because I'm working with people's fields. I need to be coherent
Right.
as I need to be.
Right.
I was gonna say as a MF.
As a motherfucker.
I need to be vibrating. I need
Yeah.
to be coherent as you can get. You know what I mean? Keep myself aligned so that I'm able to do the work, hold the space, and help clear all the fields of these souls. You know. Plus, who knows what's going to happen? If you know, it's you might be surprised someone's got a demon. There's a serious issue to attend. I've got to always make sure my guard's up, my shield's invoked, my energy's flowing, and I'm aligned. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I usually do 3 meditations a day with qigong and the chanting, and sometimes I do some extra things.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I'm starting my day with grounding and coherence, breathing first, wake up, then meditation, and then yeah.
Solid, man. Well, that's all for today's episode. Jacob, would you like to close it out with a prayer?
Yeah.
Mm.
In the name of the one true source eternal, I surround every soul listening to this with the eternal, unconditional loving frequency of divine truth source creator consciousness field. I hereby banish all darkness, distortion, fallen beings, frequencies, entities, energies, metatronic systems, finite systems, false light systems, AI systems, energy harvesting, siphoning, vampiring, and parasitic systems of all kinds. I revoke. You do not have consent or permission to be present or attach or feed to any of the souls listening. I hereby command and banish you to be gone for all eternity. I recalibrate, reignite the divine crystalline plasma light of source, reinforced and shielded with heavenly fire. It is done. By my word of source, my law, and my command, only divine beings of absolute purity, aligned with truth source and on the crystal spiral, are welcome within communication, the energetic field, and the home of every soul listening to this. Taisha into the way, Taisha into the way, Taisha into the way. Spoken as it is stated, and so it is done.
So it is done. Taisha and Tatoe. All right, guys. So if you want to talk to Jacob, you can reach out to him on Instagram. He's also inside of the Soul Path Collective as well. Jacob has some of the most advanced healing sessions in the entire world. It's going to be life-changing. It will recalibrate your destiny. So I highly, highly recommend those of you who do decide to join, that is available to you. And if you're willing to take those steps, we will be there to hold your hand every step of the way. All right. Until next time. Peace. Holy ones, if you enjoyed that episode, please be sure to like, subscribe, and follow for more. You're hearing this for the first time, this is a sign. This could be it. I want to extend this offer to you to join us in the Soul Path Collective and connect with other like-minded people who are also committed to the activation and restoration of their original divine blueprint. I'm going to be on there 2 times a month to answer your questions. We have people teaching light codes, doing breathwork sessions, sound healing, and guided meditations live on a call with me and other healers. I'm so excited to see you there if that's what you choose to decide. Remember, go with God, and you don't need anything outside of you. Everything you need is right there inside, just waiting to be awakened. Taisha and Tatoe. Love.